This has been a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are live. What,
Another.
what were you saying? What were
I was at so
we were
the
getting
two
somewhere really good,
fantastic
damn it. About
the two Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s, were they in the same continuity as each other, or did they just reboot it that quickly?
No, they there was one in 2005 and then a sequel in 2007 and then they rebooted it for 2015.
Okay,
And
so this was with like Jessica Alba, right?
Jessica Alba, Johan Grudenfeld, Captain America, and
Mm-hmm.
the guy from The Shield, the bald guy from The Shield.
Right.
Which always kind of bothered me about. He's not a bad actor or anything, but the thing in that movie, I know they couldn't make him CGI,
Mm-hmm.
but the costume or whatever the hell you want to call it, it just looked soft. It didn't look like rock. It looked just
Mm-hmm.
like foam rubber, and that really takes away from the idea of the thing when it doesn't look like he's actually rock monster. So
Well, this one, for some reason, they cheaped out on the CGI or something. And so the two places I noticed it, one where the baby did look bad, and then the thing's face sometimes just looked bad.
okay,
And that's the
I
place where you would want to like. It's where people are going to be looking on the screen, so that's the place where you would want to
babies
make
traditionally are
it look
tough,
good.
I would think, for
Yeah,
to
but
recreate it
this,
in a digital or a graphical way.
but this was like there was like a black line around Pedro Pascal's hands, like they composited it badly. So like his hand was like in the air and like moving in and out of the baby.
Oh
So it was
Jesus,
it didn't look it didn't look anything like he was holding a physical object.
yeah,
Um, so they didn't give him something to hold
yeah.
in while he was acting. He was just in front of a green screen holding air, and it came through on anyway.
Well, there are many layers of, or there's many levels of CGI when it was good, when it was bad. You would think now that so many people would have gotten into the digital artistry that we would have enough, that they can't say, oh, well, we don't have enough
Mm-hmm.
artists, we're just running low. It's like, we don't have enough artists? Really? Like, that's not a job that more people are going into?
Well, there's a lot of people who want to do it, but it's also like the effects houses are in a rush to the bottom in terms of like labor costs.
Yeah.
So there's a huge problem with like giving these like effects houses huge amounts of work to do, underpaying them, and then the
It,
effects houses themselves expect the workers to pull like 80-hour weeks to get this stuff done,
mm,
and they don't have enough people on it, and they're cheaping out. So it used to be like a skill set that was rare and hard to develop,
yeah.
and not many people did it. And now there's enough people who potentially could do it that they're starting to exploit the workers, basically.
Because, I mean, it's weird when we watch something from 20 years ago and it looks better.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you mentioned the holding something that wasn't there, that's what always bothered me about the Star Wars prequels, because at least Phantom Menace has that original look to it, where it's still physical sets for the most part, and people are actually doing something. The minute they went to the second movie was like 75%
Mm-hmm.
CGI. By the third movie, it was just Ewan McGregor and the other guy walking around in green screens.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was there, nothing was made. And that's when things started really turning for the worst, I think.
Well, I think the thing is, I think George Lucas was always really good about. He wants to be on like the vanguard of the special effects technology, right?
Yeah.
He wants to be doing stuff no one else is doing, and there's a reason Star Wars '77 looks incredible for like if you go back to the like despecialized version,
Yeah.
right? It looks incredible still. It's
Yeah.
for 1977 because they were pushing the edge of the special effects technology of the day.
Hmm.
And it's but that was still practical models. It was still like rotoscoping, and you can see like some of the jankiness of it if you go back to
If you look for it, you'll find it.
yeah. well, yeah, and there's stuff that I always noticed, like Obi-Wan's lightsaber when he fights Vader
I
is
always
kind of
wondered why it
like
was
crackling
flickering.
out.
I didn't know if
Yeah,
that was because he was about to die. I didn't know what that was about. Like I always thought his
I
force
think that
was,
was just like
you know,
the effects didn't work.
the effects didn't. I know. Later on, they explain that as like your force controls the lightsaber. So like if you turn it on and you don't have the force, it'll just keep going or something. Which sounds extremely stupid because I
Uh,
imagine people had picked up the force or the lightsaber that aren't force sensitive.
um, but yeah, so then he gets when they get around to digital era, like they're first starting to be able to do that stuff.
Mm,
They did break a lot of ground filmmaking wise in terms of like, well, now a lot of stuff is filmed on a green screen and digitaled in, and that's kind of like a normal. But he was like the first person doing it that way.
yeah,
So I think he gets credit for like being a trailblazer in a sense. It's just that the technology had not caught up to his vision as far as using that.
yeah. Well, I mean, who
Um,
else? Who else really would be a trailblazer in that sense? I'm trying to think. James Cameron probably.
Cameron,
He
yeah.
was always pushing the envelope as far as what he could do on screen, and the big story about like getting the effects for Abyss convinced him what he could do in Terminator 2.
Hmm.
Trying to think. I don't know. I'm not like a big guy who could just list directors and stuff, but I'm just trying to think of the movies that really made a leap forward, graphically. So as far as like, so we can say like Star Wars '77. Then
Hmm.
after that, would E.T. be considered a big graphical? I mean, I think the animatronic was definitely a big deal.
Yeah. Um,
I'm never a big ET guy. I'm just trying to think of what was massive around that time because I
I,
don't want to
I mean,
count. I don't want
it
to
was a
count the Star
massive
Wars sequels,
movie.
the originals. So
I don't think people were seeing it as a massive like technological feat to
yeah,
bring it to screen.
if anything, the ride in Disney World was a technological feat. Getting on those fake bicycles, that was pretty badass.
Mm.
Um, okay, so then in the '80s, what else was there? Close Encounters was that
I mean, I think the next leap thing would be
Jurassic Park?
like Jurassic Park,
Yeah,
right? Where they're seeing that as like a leap. So that's a Spielberg,
yeah.
um, and they're using some CGI in it.
Mm-hmm. Then unfortunately, the next leap, even though it's a shorter distance, I think you might have to say Titanic
Yeah.
because what they did recreating that boat stuff, mixing,
Hmm.
was just massive. And then after that, I don't know what we could say except for, and I never saw it,
Avatar.
but Avatar. Yeah, I think Avatar was the big leap,
Yeah.
but that was a leap that I don't think that we followed through on. It was
Well,
like,
they've made a couple sequels,
yeah, and they have
or
like
one sequel, and there's another one
they
coming.
have a bunch planned or something. I don't know. James Cameron's going to live
Um,
to be 1,000, I guess. So
and I think the big thing with Avatar was that was what started the 3D thing that was going for a while, where like
the
every
3D,
movie had to have a 3D
the
version.
3D thing that ruined movies for a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Um,
That was sad because
mhm.
I mean, and unfortunately, I think according to the timeline, if that comes around every 25 to 30 years, we're probably getting close to it again. Because there was the
Yeah.
80s where they had the boom of 3D crap. Um, and I think even
Hmm.
like the early 60s had that like weird, like you could go into like a show and they'd give you the wacky goggles and stuff. Um,
Well, that was '09. So then 2019. So we've got 4 to 5 to 10 years until it comes
yeah,
back
10 to
around.
15 years. 10 to 15 years,
Yeah.
I'd say we're probably safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's cyclical, but 3D
But
sucks. So
kids, if you probably you may not remember, but there was a good period between like '09 and maybe 2016 or so where like every movie had a 3D version
had to have.
and they would upcharge for the glasses.
It was either
And
had to have it. Well, at the movies, there were ones that had a 3D version, but there were also ones that were only 3D at the same time. Like they
mhm,
were the sequels, the third in a series, and they'd say Texas Chainsaw 3D,
mhm.
and it, and
And
then
they would
like
still do the thing where they would like move an object toward the
there was
camera.
no. I don't get the gimmick behind 3D. I mean, it was as a kid, it was kind of cool. But
Hmm.
once you've seen it like once, it's like, all right, it's always going to be them just pointing at you or having a ball
Hmm.
come at you or something like that. It's never going to be really that immersive. So I didn't, it's just,
Well, it's a way to upsell going into the theater
yeah,
because now instead of paying whatever it is now for a movie ticket, like $12 or
oh, way
something,
more than that. Well, for here at least, yeah.
um, you're paying another $5 for the 3D version or something, or $9 for the 3D version. And then, so if you don't see the 3D version, you're supposed to feel like you're missing out,
Yeah.
right? And for a while, they were selling TVs with 3D
Hmm.
functions
Those
too, and
disasters, yeah.
right, because you needed like special glasses for home,
Again, you
and
needed
those get
glasses,
lost,
and
they
it
get
would, and it,
broken.
and like the colors and shit on things would be all wrong because it
Hmm.
needed to be 3D. Yeah, I
And you
luckily never
needed
fell into that gimmick.
like a special DVD player and a special DVD and the glasses and the TV. So you need to spend like $2,000 to be able to watch movies in 3D at home.
It's not yeah, exactly. It's not something that you just plug and play. Um,
No.
at a time that people were already switching from DVDs to Blu-rays or HD DVD and all that shit. So
Hmm. Well, it was too soon after the shift from DVDs to Blu-ray to then go to, oh well, you need the
you
3D
need
Blu-ray
3D
or whatever.
versions, which yeah, no, I didn't. Luckily, I never got involved with the gimmick, or the
Mm,
curved TV gimmick. That was another one that
no.
they're like, oh, it's better
Um,
viewing angles. Why am I going to be standing on the side of the room watching my TV? Usually, you just have a couch and you sit in front of the thing. You don't have to.
well, if anything, that kind of limits your viewing angles
I would think so. Yeah.
because you have to be like right in the right spot for it. And that was gaming monitors for a while were all curved.
Hmm.
Um,
I remember a couple of
then everyone
jobs
was like,
ago I worked. We had some special developers who needed curved monitors, and it was no, it was really they just wanted to game or have something fancy. Which
yeah. Um, I mean, which I can understand. Like, if you have a huge monitor, maybe there's less eye strain if like you're the same distance to everything.
sure,
But I don't
I think negligible
buy
is
it.
the word we're looking for there, but
Yeah.
it is interesting now
So
with the. I was going to ask you about that because we mentioned the 3D movies. When you choose a movie nowadays, are there like five versions that you can see? Because at least here, the
um,
AMC here, we have the standard. You have some type of Dolby Digital, some type of thing called Real D, which is not 3D, but it's Real D. And then there's
okay.
like the IMAX version. So there's like you could pick between like four fucking versions of them, and they're all obviously different price, but roughly with the same.
So
It's
we don't have that. As you know, I'm in a small town,
yeah,
and so we have a movie theater,
okay,
and that's it. And oh no, they added a second one, but it's the same chain,
okay,
so it's just a second location, and they on the other side of town, and they have they just have a few different times for the same movie, so they don't have different like upcharges that they'll do, and there's no
okay.
IMAX.
So it's old school. Yeah, I like that. That was an old like the old multiplexes we used to go to.
Well, remember in Rochester there was a dollar theater,
That was
a
beautiful.
second run theater.
Even though it wasn't $1, it was like $3 by the time we lived there. But
Right.
it was still amazing because it encouraged you to go to the movies more, and then things that I
Hmm.
missed or that I was kind of curious about, but I didn't really want to spend a full ticket. You go there, and that I think they also had like
Right.
Dollar Tuesdays, so it actually was a original dollar theater on those nights. So you pay $1, then the popcorn and stuff was cheaper too. So
Yeah, and I think there were a couple times I went like for a full day
yeah,
or like for two or three movies in a row or
I
something.
remember that. Yep, they had. Well, they had
Um,
gimmick ones where they would have like a series of movies that were they'd fit together kind of thing,
mhm.
or you could just go like you said and just see different shit.
Yeah, like you would pay for multiple tickets,
Yeah,
but
you weren't just beating the system of the nice dollar theater. Yeah,
no. And there was one kind of like that when I lived in San Antonio too, a second run movie theater. And there just isn't one of those around where I live now.
I think there was one around here. I was talking to one of my friends that's been in the area a while. I thought there was one. I just got to figure out where it is. The only discounts I know are on Tuesday nights at the Alamo, which I've never gone to. But on Tuesday nights at the Alamo, it's like $5 tickets or something.
Okay.
And I've heard their popcorn is really good. So
Um, there was Alamo Draft House when I was in San Antonio, of course,
yeah,
and that was decent. Like they bring you food, like it's
yeah,
a restaurant at the same time.
yeah. That seems like it would be interesting, but potentially you wouldn't want to see a movie you really care about with that going on.
Yeah, I can only remember going to the two movies for that. At that, that was Black Klansman and Hereditary,
All right,
which
so
are two very different
I
movies.
was gonna say very different movies. I hope you didn't see them back to back.
No, um, both like different friend groups invited me to go along when they were going to the movies.
Well, the thing about see, like I said, I've never gone to a movie like that. But the last time I had a situation with them, the waiters and stuff, was when I went and saw Colin Quinn do stand up, and it was like one of those places with a 2 drink minimum.
Hmm.
But it wasn't like if you remember at the comedy. What was the place in Rochester we used to go? Comedy Comics Cafe, where they had like tables. So like there'd be six
Hmm.
people at a table eating, and a waitress could come and do it. They had us in fucking rows.
Hmm.
So the waitresses are like shuffling up and down rows of people. Oh, do you want more? And I was in the. I think I just had surgery. I just was. It was one of the first events I did after I had my surgery, like 2 or 3 weeks before. So I wasn't. I definitely wasn't drinking alcohol. But it was like I didn't want anything. I was like, could you just charge me for 2 Sprites and just I'll take them and whatever. But like, it was so distracting. You're trying to watch a fucking comedy show. I
Hmm.
don't. So that I could
Well,
see at least on Alamo Draft House, from what I understand, there's like a digital way to like tell them what you want and shit, or you probably order on
yeah,
your phone
and
nowadays.
they do try to be discreet with like
Yeah,
bringing it to you.
they're
But
probably more
and they
used to
also
it.
have alcohol. So that was the other thing is
Yeah,
they serve alcohol.
nice. Yeah,
So if you're into that, that's there.
which it seems that just about every theater does that. And not maybe yours doesn't, but the theaters I go to, they all have like a little bar, and people are always pumped to like go get to spend $15 on a fucking a shitty beer before they go see Fantastic Four. It's like, all right,
So believe it or not, this is a dry county.
ha,
So to buy alcohol, you have to drive to the county line,
yeah.
and there's like
I
a
was gonna say,
sketchy store
is there a store right on the county line? Yeah,
right on the county
right on
line,
the county line.
and the people who own those stores lobby the county to keep the dry county
Yeah, of course, it keeps them in
because
business. Because if not, they're fucked.
so that so it's completely corrupt.
Yeah,
And I'm my thinking is like, well, okay, but all you're doing is now combining drinking with driving
yeah.
because now people are drinking, they run out, and they're gonna go drive
You
down
have
to the
to go
county line.
far for it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and then you're making it more of a taboo, which attracts people to it. Also, I think. But so explain to me
Yeah.
because the dry county. I remember growing up. We both lived near Connecticut. Growing up,
Hmm.
and Connecticut, I believe, had dry Sundays or something like that, where, or maybe until I forget what it was, but there was some shit on Sundays where people in Connecticut couldn't get alcohol until a certain time, or maybe at all. But and that was even weird to me because well, whatever. But I'm not a big drinker, so I give a shit either way. How does a dry county work? Like, if you
Um,
drive back with it, can the cops pull you
no,
over and say,
so
"Hey, you have alcohol in the car, sir"?
there are exceptions to the rules if you grease the right wheels.
Oh
So you
God.
can buy alcohol out of the county and bring it in,
Okay.
and that's completely legal. They can't. It's illegal to have alcohol in county. You can go to certain bars and buy alcohol. So there's a
Okay.
few bars that are licensed to sell alcohol. What you can't do is go to a liquor store in the county or go to the supermarket and buy alcohol.
Okay.
So that's what's banned.
Gotcha.
Um, just confusing. Um,
Well, liquor's
and then when I like go out of the when I go to a supermarket out of town and they do have alcohol for sale, I'm like, oh, they sell beer at Walmart because it seemed because my brain has now calibrated to they don't sell alcohol at the
well, I
supermarket.
remember the first time I was in Florida at a supermarket, at least as an adult, and they had
Mm.
wine. Which growing up in New York, it was like there was just beer in supermarkets.
Right.
Then
So
they
the
started
New
getting
York,
those little like annexes where they would have wine at like Wegmans and stuff. But growing up, it was just beer at supermarkets. You had to go to a liquor store for anything other than beer.
New York has its own protectionist laws, right?
Yeah.
So there to protect liquor stores, the supermarket can't sell wine in the supermarket.
Yeah.
And then Wegmans would do the thing where we also happen to own the liquor store next door.
Yeah, this Wegmans Liquor, which has a door
Mm-hmm.
from the supermarket into it.
But it's technically a different store.
I'm lucky I never got bit by the alcohol bug. Like I've enjoyed, we've drank together. I've enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
drinks, but I definitely it's not my thing. And
Well, I think like when we lived together, there were a few times I tried to get drunk at a party or something, but
yeah,
just for the experience,
yeah,
it did not go well.
there were. There was one. I remember there was a couple times that you didn't enjoy. There was one time you had a great time drinking. I do remember that. Just in
Uh,
general, you were just happy about it. We were laughing. Everyone was. But I didn't think that was a party. I think that was just us around the house, me, you, and Steven probably hanging out. But in general, alcohol, it's tough because, like for me, I don't like the taste of beer. So if
yeah,
I'm drinking beer, it's specifically to get drunk, which is like that's
I think there's a very narrow window between you're kind of loose and silly and like you're disinhibited
yeah,
to you're out of control.
yeah.
And I
And
don't like the out of control.
out of control means a lot of things for a lot of different things for a lot of people. So
Right. Um,
um, I'm not proud to say it, but when this is way past the statute of limitations. But in like 2008, 2009, when it was our friend Justin's birthday party at his house, me and him drank a lot, and I had to get home. We lived not far
mhm.
from the place, but that was the most inebriated I had ever been, and I should not have done. And after that, and that was I think that was one of the last times I really tied one on,
Mhm.
because I remember I was sitting. I got home. I couldn't stop the house from spinning. I couldn't stop anything from spinning. I had to sit in the I had to sit in the shower
Mhm.
with all my clothes on, but with the shower on, just trying to like keep because everything was spinning, and I didn't like that feeling of
Yeah.
just like something's not right, you know. Um, and it was just
Yeah,
yeah,
and I definitely I'm prone to hangovers.
yeah,
Um Even back then I remember there were a couple times where we went to a party or something and I drank and then the next day I was like throwing up
yeah,
and headache like a terrible headache and
yeah.
just there's a lot about it
Well, yeah.
to
I mean,
not recommend
you're
it.
basically you're poisoning yourself. I mean,
Mhm.
even on a small level, you're basically you're putting alcohol in, you're limiting the oxygen and all that. You know, you're thinning out your blood. So, are there benefits? I'm sure there are benefits socially and like with wine. I think having like a glass of red wine a week reduces some bullshit with your heart. I don't know. I don't drink, but overall, it's you're poisoning yourself. You're dehydrating yourself.
Right.
You're
Well, I think
taxing your liver. You know.
in college there's always a feeling of well other people are having more fun than me
Hmm.
or like they're having a party I should be having a party or like they're having fun and I'm not and I want to be able to join in,
Yeah.
right? Or feeling like for me at least I always kind of felt because I have like a reserve, so I always kind of felt like well if I were to drink then maybe I would be able to be at the like be able to reach the level other people are at where they can like just have fun,
Yeah.
and not be like up in their head all the time.
Yeah.
And but again, it's like a very narrow therapeutic window there where you can very quickly become completely like out of it
Well, then you're
and
trying,
say things you don't mean, do things you don't mean,
and then you're trying
drive.
to like.
I never drove drunk, but you
I'm not saying I did or didn't. I'm just saying I had to get
mm,
home.
sure. Um, but I'm just saying
It
like
was rural Rochester before anyone gets upset, and it was literally a half mile. We lived very close to Riverdale apart. Riverdale, Riverside, River, whatever the fuck.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I'm just all I'm saying is I can understand like retrospectively why I felt the pressure to participate.
Hmm?
It's just that like now as a fully formed adult, like it's just not something I choose to do very often, if at
Yeah,
all.
if at all. Exactly. Yeah, I need a special occasion or a reason to do it, or And even then, it's like I have to be willing to deal with the consequences of my stomach
Yeah.
being mad at me the next day because it just pisses off the Crohn's.
But then I'm sure you know people our age who like are still like going to bars and partying like
I
they're in
see. That's what
college.
I'm saying. We are definitely in the minority, being that we don't
Mm.
live in the world of alcohol because it's such an American and or just worldwide, maybe Western, I don't know, thing. Where I kept waiting as I got older, like into like my teens and 20s, like, oh, beer is eventually gonna taste good, right? Like, all right, I'm eventually gonna get this stuff, and I'm gonna, because so many people make it seem like, oh man, I can't wait for a beer after a cold day. They made it sound like
Hmm.
it tastes good, and it's like it's literally no, you're just drinking that to like make your feelings go away and stuff. Like,
I
there's
mean, I
something
think there's people
fucking
who
dark there. Like,
I
and I'm
think
sure
there are
there's people
people
who
who
like the
appreciate
taste.
it
I mean,
because it's bitter, right? But there's definitely people I've met who like it's like coffee. Like they
yeah,
develop a taste for coffee.
hmm
I think there's people who develop a taste for different kinds of beer and start to enjoy the taste of beer, right?
yeah. Well, there were times
So,
when I was a drinker back in college. There was times when I had a standard thing I would drink, like a tequila or this or that, and it doesn't taste bad. But like in general, it's like all alcohol does not. Something's wrong when you're tasting
mhm.
it. Like you're not meant to be drinking it necessarily.
Yeah, they're like this tastes like a lab chemical.
Exactly. Yeah, it tastes.
That
Like
was.
Everclear. I remember we
I
did
remember I would
Everclear
make
Pong. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, what?
a couple times. I made martinis with like dry ice in them
Yeah, I remember you
when
doing
we
that
lived
stuff.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, martinis are another one that like I always thought they would taste like fruity and fun.
no,
No, they taste
they are
like
nasty.
ass. They are
Yeah,
horrible. Like,
absolutely disgusting.
but like I like olives. I was like, hey, a martini would be cool. Have like olive and stuff. And like,
Hmm.
ugh. It's just horrible, man. I don't, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, and I remember like I read somewhere that real martinis are not vodka; they're gin.
Yeah,
So like if anyone says, "Oh, is that a gin martini?" I would get to be like, "No, no, this is a martini. A vodka martini is not a martini. It's a
yeah,
vodka martini. This is a
exactly. Yeah,
martini."
it's
And like
you were an expert on fucking
like
martinis.
I'm our expert on
You
martinis.
grew up in you grew up in a house that
Don't
had them every
don't
night.
shake it. You're gonna
Yeah.
bruise the gin.
I'll have a Manhattan instead tonight.
Uh,
Oh man,
um,
I can't imagine that the old timey shit. It would like you'd go out and just for breakfast they'd have like a martini and like a gin and tonic.
well, but you've met those guys who were like very serious about like their drinks or whatever,
Oh yeah,
and like I feel like at times I like tried to like get into it because it's interesting to be into stuff, right?
yeah,
Like that's cool. But then I always kind of felt like a poser.
yeah,
Like I'm not really into I read about this on the internet and I'm
yeah,
like experimenting with it or whatever. But then I never know if like the guys who are into like 50 different kinds of fancy cocktail,
yeah,
like were they actually or were they the same like they felt like they were posers?
yeah. Well, it's. I mean, I'm not into alcohol, but I like the process of making wine. Oh, that's fascinating.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
the fermentation and stuff, and the right temperatures, and putting the right amount of yeast in, and testing the sugar levels. That stuff's all fascinating to me. The fact it tastes like wine at the end, it's like okay, who cares? But the
Hmm.
making of it, I really am interested. Or the way, like you said, with people who are into beer, they like making their own. They come up with these different brews. It's like that's fascinating that you're able to come up with something and make it taste like something down the
Hmm.
road. It's just I don't want any, but I think it's
Hmm.
cool. You do you.
I did the one. I did a make your own beer kit during the pandemic lockdowns, and it was fine.
Yeah, it
Like
worked. It didn't kill
it
you, really.
worked. It didn't kill me. I didn't go blind.
Yeah, yet.
But then I was kind of like done.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, this is pretty good beer for beer. It's okay.
yeah,
But then I just didn't have any interest in like buying hundreds of dollars worth of equipment and like refractometers and pH meters and like different kinds of hops. It's just, it's not,
That is
I'm not going to be able to tell the difference.
well that and that is the problem with getting into hobbies as an adult because you have to really lay out the money yourself.
Hmm.
There's no like adults. I mean, there are, I guess, like adult centers where they have cooking classes and stuff for adults. But like, if you want to learn,
Hmm.
like, I remember we were talking about what's the not making chainmail, but doing the stuff with the metal working or whatever, forging,
Blacksmithing.
blacksmithing, forging, something like that. Someone at my last job was like, "Hey, do you want to like do this blacksmithing like uh, class or something?" I was like, "Yeah, find out about it." They never followed through. But it was like that's the type of thing that's interesting to me, like because you
Hmm.
can to set up that you can't just set that shit up at your house.
I
So
mean, you can.
well, no, you can, but it's thousands. It's a lot of money and
Yeah.
danger and zoning. So I like the idea of classes like that. It's like you said, you wanna learn how to make beer. It's like maybe if you can do it yourself, sure, like you said with a kit. But I don't know, be interesting to have a collaborative area.
Yeah. Makerspace.
Yeah, makerspace. There you go. Maybe I have to look them up and see what
Hobby
they do.
10. Um, yeah. I mean, I think the hobby thing, I have too many hobbies. I mean, I don't know if I was like that in college or not, but I jump around between hobbies really quickly,
Yeah,
and I'll like get an idea and then spend money I don't have on the stuff to
yeah,
implement the idea, and like go to town, like go super intense into it, and then like once I've made it, I'll lose all interest.
yeah. No,
Um,
I've done that, and I've also
yeah,
gotten the stuff for it and then not followed through, and then like 2 years later, I'm like, oh yeah, let me get back to that. So sometimes you're
yeah.
just planting seeds for later on.
I mean, this is also like making helmets or whatever. Like, I'm not going to be a prop maker.
Yeah,
It's just like a fun thing to do a
helmets are
couple
awesome.
times.
I have a Mass Effect helmet, and I was looking to get a Boba Fett helmet to put because I can't just have one helmet in one of my things and
Hmm.
nothing on the other one. So I'm trying to find the right helmet to put opposed it.
All right. Well, there are a lot of helmets in Mass Effect.
It's the main it's the main Shepard helmet from Mass Effect 3, I
Hmm.
think.
All right.
Really beautiful helmet though. Yeah, I like helmets too. I collected a
Did
lot
you
of
play?
The Star Wars Black Series had a lot of small ones like the mini helmets in titanium. I have a good amount of those. So
Did you play that like spin-off Mass Effect game?
Andromeda, I
Yeah.
definitely played all of them. I loved all the Mass
All right.
Effects. Really good games.
I played 1 through 3, and I started Andromeda, and I didn't like I couldn't finish it.
Yeah,
Like it just was. I lost interest.
it had diminishing returns. I think after two was really just the best.
Hmm.
Three was good because you had to finish the story and all that. But I remember three more for multiplayer because me and a couple friends I had at the time were into playing the multiplayer. Three was
Mm.
not as good of a story. Andromeda, again, I don't remember a damn thing about the game. I remember the multiplayer. Um,
All
so yeah,
right.
I fond
Yeah, I'm not a
memories of Mass
multiplayer
Effect, but they're
guy.
mostly all from one and two. So
Yeah. So I think the story was really entertaining. Mass Effect. It's fun to go through and figure out all the different sci-fi references
oh yeah,
because there's a different all of a lot of the like DLCs and stuff are specific references to old sci-fi stories and stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it's fun to like build the character. Like they tuned it pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, I think the first game like really like kind of blew me out of the water with that stuff. And then by the time you got to the second one, it had improvements. It like perfected that stuff. And then the third one almost felt like a backtrack for some reason.
It felt like
Like,
it was less ambitious than the second one. And
yeah, the story wasn't as interesting.
mm-hmm.
Um, I felt like there was maybe less to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true. I think I felt that way.
The second, I felt like there was always something to do. Either you were scanning and you were
Hmm.
mining, and there were all the side missions and stuff. And the first two, I mean, I'm sure the third had replayability as far as changing your choices and stuff. But the first
Hmm.
two was notable for like every choice, not every choice, but choices really mattered in the
Hmm.
game. So
Yeah. It would have been nice if you like carried your. I don't think you carried your character over from one game to the other, did you?
I believe you could have.
Or it was just you would carry over
Or
like
wait, no, I'm sorry.
your customizations of the character,
I
but
think you
not
could.
the stats.
I think you could carry over like, or you could make up a story and they would fill in some stats for you. There was something like that, yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't a continuation of. It
Right.
wasn't a straight continuation. So, which sucked
Yeah.
because
So I think you could like carry over your character design or something. And
hmm
anyway, I just didn't get into Andromeda that much.
I don't think you're. I don't think you're missing much.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, though, before we get out of here, I will tell you, I played the first mission as, or at least the might be the only mission as Alex Murphy in the
All
RoboCop
right.
DLC.
How was that?
Pretty enjoyable. I was at first a little upset because I was like they let you get like a couple hours into the game as Robo, and like you're getting into a good rhythm because you have to rebuild your stats, so you basically
Hmm.
start at zero again. So you're getting into a good rhythm, and then as soon as you start getting the plot going, they send you back. But it's actually pretty cool.
So how much
Um,
DLC is there in terms of like compared to the main game?
well, it's actually I mean it's considered a sequel. I think
Really?
it's not considered DLC because because you could buy it without owning the first game, I believe, or
Okay.
without owning the main, however you want to call it, main game, first game. It's completely different. There's no overarch world like you go back to the police station. It's all just in that
Mhm.
tower, in the OCP tower. Um,
And how much are they charging for it?
I forget. I think it
Or-
was $30. I forget. It might have been 40.
Okay.
I would wait for a sale if you're not, super in love with it. But it's really, I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it, and it's not short, which I thought it was going to be. So that's pretty cool. But
Well, that was what would happen with the other one was I I bought it on Good Old Games because it was $10 there and 50 on Steam,
yeah.
and that caused all kind of problems playing it on the Steam Deck.
Oh, really? Does it give you? Does GOG give you like a code or something? I used to use them back in the day, but since I'm not as big of a PC gamer, I haven't
No, they
used them.
have their own they have their own store, and
Okay.
but so Steam Deck has like a version of Linux on it, and so you can install games from other stores. You just having it work with the controls and the launcher and everything.
So it wasn't
You have
through
to set it
Steam,
up a little
basically,
bit.
is what you were saying. Yeah, gotcha.
Pardon?
You weren't playing it through Steam. You're
Well,
playing it on
so
the
you
Steam Deck,
have like
but
an application called Heroic Launcher that you install from the desktop, and then Heroic Launcher, you log into your GOG account and that acts kind of like an alternative Steam store.
yeah,
You download the game, and then it plays fine. I think you have to pick which version of Proton you're using to
yeah.
translate Windows to Linux system calls or whatever, but it works fine.
So it's just not native with the Steam Deck as far as
It's not
the
quite as native, but
gotcha.
it's like an extra 15. No, it's extra 10 minutes of effort to figure out how to do it.
And
And
especially
once you've done it
if you're
once, it'll
saving
work.
and if you're saving that much money, it's worth it.
Yeah, it was worth the $40
That's a huge difference. Yeah. So
to
yeah,
and then if I play another, I have other games on Good Old Games,
yeah.
and if something's on sale again at some point, then it's worth the extra effort, 5 minutes of effort to do that.
What was that other site I used to get games from? It was like you'd make a donation for $1 and they'd give you like 5 games. Humble
Humble
Bundle.
Bundle.
Yeah, I used to use them, and
Yeah.
they had good PDFs and stuff too. You'd get some good informational things. I have to check them out. I haven't seen them in a while.
They're still around. I think for a while they were doing stuff like they kind of turned into like assets for people who were developing their own games.
Okay,
Would be a lot of the Humble
I
Bundles.
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It really for a while it was like they wouldn't have much on the bundle, but it would be really good, or it would be one piece that you really liked, and then like you said, after a while it became weird software add-ons and stuff for specific pieces of software.
yeah, well, I remember at one point I got a copy of Sony Vegas
Okay.
on there for like not much money, and that was like because I owned it. That was what I used to edit for a long time for like
Yeah.
classes and stuff. And but Vegas is like fell behind pretty quickly with like in terms of like efficiency compared to like DaVinci Resolve
Yeah.
or other stuff that's like available for free.
It's amazing how Final Cut used to be the absolute be all end all for video editing, and Adobe completely kicked their ass.
Um, yeah. Well, Adobe came along, and then now DaVinci came along, and it had all the editing ability, but it was free. So now a lot of people use DaVinci.
Which is fine,
Um,
and that's good competition also. I
yeah.
just I had already been using Adobe for something else, so it was easy to get the package together.
I mean,
Um,
on Mac, it's kind of hard to justify paying for Final Cut or paying for Adobe like a subscription when you can get DaVinci for free
yeah,
and it does all the same stuff.
it's beautiful that we have that stuff. That we have options that are, you know,
Uh,
freeware. Hey Ziggy, as you can see, he's waking
uh,
up, so I think it's time. He's telling us
yeah.
it's time to call it a night.
All right. Goodbye,
Rufus,
parasocials.
have a great parasocials. Yes, have a great night. Do you have anything to plug, or you're just excited for your trip?
Um, I have a book coming out that I won't tell you about.
We'll tell
But
them about it
I'll,
eventually, maybe.
yeah, maybe I'm going to have author copies coming soon. So I'll have something I can hold up
Awesome. Yeah, nice.
and show.
That's it.
Um,
Was this your third book?
this is the second. I'm in talks about a third, I
Nice.
guess. So the publisher, the editor, has read the proposal for my third and is presenting it to the acquisition committee or something like that.
Hey, better than just saying flat out no. So
No.
sweet. All right. Otherwise, this was Alex and Rufus. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Streamlabs decided to break on us twice. We'll see if that's a running theme on our next episode. But we'll see you here next Wednesday night live.
Same bat time,
Same
same
bad
bat
time,
channel.
same bad channel. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.